Since the beginning of this year, major Chinese companies have been laying off employees one after another, exacerbating the unemployment crisis among Chinese youth. According to the official statistics of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, the urban unemployment rate among individuals aged 16 to 24 reached 20.4% in April this year. Experts point out that although this figure may be much lower than the actual number, the CCP's statistic itself is already a dangerous signal. According to the latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics of China, the urban youth unemployment rate surpassed 20% for the first time in April 2023, reaching the highest point since January 2018 when statistics were available. Meanwhile, the number of Chinese university graduates this year is 11.58 million, an increase of 820,000 compared to the previous year, which has essentially led to a situation where graduation equals unemployment. At the same time, major Chinese companies have joined the wave of layoffs, making the job market even more challenging. According to a survey report released by global consulting firm AlixPartners on March 27, as the economy declines and geopolitical crises escalate, 17% of mainland companies have already started layoffs, and 43% of the surveyed companies plan to lay off or halt recruitment in the coming year. Earlier this year, Chinese internet technology giants such as ByteDance, Tencent, and JD.com also implemented layoffs. According to a report by Phoenix Finance on January 5, it was reported that ByteDance had layoffs at the end of 2022, estimated to be around 10% of the overall optimization scale, and there were also layoff news from Bilibili, Xiaomi, and The Who. As of last month, May, Alibaba's layoffs included subsidiaries such as Taocean Group, K-Now, Local Services, Alibaba Cloud Intelligence Group, and Alibaba Pictures. The total number of job cuts was 25,000. Taobao and Tmall's research and development department saw a 25% reduction in staff, while Alibaba Cloud Intelligence experienced a 7% reduction. According to Alibaba's latest financial report, as of March 31, 2023, the total number of employees was 235,216, compared to 239,740 as of December 31, 2022. This means a reduction of 4,524 employees in the first quarter of this year. In 2022, Alibaba reduced its workforce by 4,375 employees in the first quarter, 9,241 in the second quarter, 1,797 in the third quarter, and 4,163 in the fourth quarter. Adding the reduction of 4,524 employees in the first quarter of this year, Alibaba's total employee count decreased by 24,100 across the 5 quarters. In addition, data shows that as of March 31, 2022, Tencent had 116,213 employees. However, by December 31, 2022, the number of employees decreased to 108,436. Furthermore, as of March 31, 2023, the number of Tencent employees dropped to 106,221, representing a decrease of nearly 10,000 compared to the same period last year. The large-scale layoffs directly harm 2 major groups, the laid-off employees and recent graduates. Taking the recent case of mass contract termination of recent graduates by China Creation Ventures, CCV, as an example, students who received offers, employment contracts, from CCV during the autumn campus recruitment last year, signed tripartite agreements, and had their employment start date on May 24 suddenly found themselves dismissed and quickly received termination notices. The reason given for the termination was job position changes, and the dismissed students were asked to provide their bank account information to prepay a breach of contract compensation fee of 3,000 yuan, approximately $421. According to information shared by CCV employees in group chats, CCV terminated all the 2023 recent graduates who were recruited during the autumn and spring campus recruitments, totaling at least 2,000 people. The affected positions included equipment technicians, front-end developers, office service staff, and others. Similar situations were reported in CCV's branch offices in Changzhou, Hefei, Chengdu, Xiamen, Wuhan, and other cities. Xiaoming, pseudonym, a private enterprise owner in Zhangzhou, Henan, said, "Nowadays, companies are afraid to hire because they can't afford it. Companies don't have the capacity to provide social insurance and housing provident fund for employees, they are barely maintaining their operations, so they dare not hire regular employees. Many companies that originally planned to recruit from schools are also afraid to do so given the current situation. Many companies that had already hired have also terminated contracts, leaving these students laid off before even starting their jobs. Xiaoming believes that this year should be the beginning of a wave of large-scale layoffs. For companies, they have to consider human resources and costs. With fewer orders and the withdrawal of foreign capital, many manufacturing industries have shifted to other Southeast Asian countries, resulting in a natural decrease in job opportunities. Large-scale layoffs by major corporations are a prominent manifestation of the overall global economic downturn. However, for Western countries, unemployment does not necessarily mean a loss of livelihood. Taking the United States as an example, Professor Xie Tian from the Darla Moore School of Business at the University of South Carolina explains, in the United States, everyone has unemployment insurance. The agricultural population in the United States is less than 5%, so farmers basically do not face unemployment issues. For the non-agricultural population in cities, as long as they have worked for a certain period of time, once they become unemployed, they can receive unemployment insurance for several months, half a year, or even a year. Especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, there were extensions of up to half a year or a year for unemployment benefits. The amount may not be substantial, but it is enough to sustain a basic standard of living and prevent people from going hungry. He further explains, the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, refers to unemployment as awaiting employment, which is a deceptive term. China's unemployment insurance does not cover the entire population, and the majority of migrant workers do not have access to it. The coverage of unemployment insurance is very limited. The government does not have enough funds to provide sufficient unemployment benefits to cover those who lose their jobs in urban areas, including migrant workers. Once migrant workers become unemployed, they return to rural areas. However, rural areas do not require such a large labor force. Therefore, China is currently facing a severe problem. Professor Xie compares the current situation to the period of the Cultural Revolution and believes that the current situation is even more severe. During the later stages of the Cultural Revolution, China experienced economic collapse and increased unemployment. At that time, CCP leader Mao Zedong called upon educated youth to go to the countryside, forcing young people to move to rural areas. Now, Xi Jinping is also trying to encourage young people to go to rural areas, but he lacks the same level of influence, and the general public does not listen to him. So, the CCP cannot employ the same strategy, and the problem is very serious. This year, 70% to 80% of university graduates are unable to find jobs. The current overall unemployment rate in the United States is around 3% to 3.5%, and almost everyone has a job. The Chinese government, CCP, acknowledges a youth unemployment rate of up to 20%. Although this number is far lower than the actual situation, it is still a dangerous signal. For example, if the youth unemployment rate in other countries in the Middle East or South America exceeds 15% to 20%, it can lead to social unrest. In reality, China is also on the eve of erupting into social unrest, he warned.